Today we would be discussing about a project where the task that we were provided to do was by a retail client who Global Mart, which operated an online store, a super online store, and uh, it delivered orders and took orders from across the globe and dealt with major product categories. So the store catered to seven different market segments in the three major categories. So there were basically 21 market buckets where the store dealt with, or which the store dealt with. So our business objective was to forecast the sales and demand for the next 6 months for the two most profitable this market buckets across this 21 market buckets, which comprises of seven market segments and three categories. So that was our basic business objective. So we followed the basic CRISP DM methodology in predicting or forecasting the output, and for that we used the time series models. And so the four variables which were of major importance to us as part of data understanding, they were the sales values, the sales quantity, the profit values, and also the dates when the purchases were being made. So after performing the basic steps of data preparation, which included null value check, blank value checks, and other stuffs, we moved on to the data preparation phase, where our main aim was to find the monthly profit values to find out the two most profitable segments. So on doing the same, firstly we aggregated the monthly values of the total quantity of profit, sales, and sales quantity across the 21 market sections spread across three segments and seven markets. Now we got the mean, we calculated the standard deviation and coefficient of variation for the three attributes across the 21 market sections, and then we identified the sections with highest profit and lowest coefficient of variation. Lowest coefficient of variation determined or appointed that these were the sections which had most consistent profit. Now, on performing the above analysis, we concluded that EU consumer and APAC consumer were the two most profitable segments or market sections which we needed to forecast, and for these two, we needed to forecast the sales and quantity of sales. Now comes the most important phase, or the model building phase, using the time series analysis and our basic forecasting approach. So the basic forecasting approach that we used was, we divided the data which were provided into a period of 42 months and 6 months, because we had the data for 4 years, that is 48 months. The 42 months data we used to prepare our model, and the next 6 months data we kept it as reserve to forecast and check whether our forecast is matching with actual values or not. So in the forecasting approach, we did it via two methods: the classical decomposition method and the AutoArima method. So in the classical decomposition method, we smoothed the time series and then generated a global fit model to replicate the global trend. After getting the global fit model, we subtracted the global fit model from the actual model to find out the local trend or variations, and then we checked for various autoregressive features, and we checked for strong and weak stationarity, and then we tried to generate an ARIMA model to predict if there were any autoregressive factors in the local trend. And on getting the same, we subtracted the same from the local trend. We subtracted the local trend as predicted by the AutoArima model from the values that we got as local trend after subtracting the global trend from the actual values, and that gave us the residual part. And then we used the Dickey-Fuller test and the KPSS methods to check for white noise, and in that way we performed the modeling using classical decomposition method. Similarly, we performed it using AutoArima method also, where we provided the model to the AutoArima function, and then we got the models, and we performed ADF and KPSS tests to again detect that whether they were white noise or not. Now, after creating these models, we performed the MAPE validation as part of our model evaluation technique and found out that the MAPE values were nearly 30, around about 30 in all the cases, which was pretty good.